on va essayer de comprendre un peu c'était qui Yosef, et après qui Yosef il est nommé. Alors, on va faire en français ou en anglais, comme on fait d'habitude?
Comme que je veux.
Okay, on va aller comme ça va, okay?
Okay.
So
no
basically,
complicated words, okay?
okay, so basically, so it says that every day of Sukkot, there's a special guest that comes, right? And it says that the first day, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, and David. And it says Yosef comes on the sixth night. So now we have to understand who is Yosef, right? And Yosef is one of the only few in the Torah that's written Yosef Hatsadik. Like this is, it's like if I tell you,
Like with the title.
it's like if I tell you, what does this guy do? Oh, Yosef, this one is the king, or this one is Cohen, this one is this one is that. Yosef is Yosef Hatzadik, that's his title. So today we're going to try to explain and see why is he Hatzadik, what was so special about Yosef, and why was he able to rise above everyone else, and why he's one of those shpizin. So there's a lot of things that we have to see tonight for about Yosef Hatzadik. So the first verse I wanted to share with you from the Torah, it's written, וישראל אהב את יוסף, מכל בניו כיוון זיכונים הוא לו, ועשה לו כתונת פסים, ויראו אחיו כי אותו אהב אביהם מכל אחיו, וישנאו אותו, ולא יכלו לדברו לשלום. So it's written in the Torah that Yaakov, so he's also called Israel, we're named after Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu, after he fought with the angel, he was named Israel. And this is what we call Bnei Israel, we're the sons of Israel, and this is Yaakov. Now it says that Yaakov Avinu, he loved Yosef more than everyone else, and he made him a special tunic. And they said that the brothers of Yosef hated Yosef because of that, and they were jealous. They were jealous of him. And it says, and they could not speak about him peacefully. So it's interesting because about this we learn that there was also no hypocrisy amongst the brothers, because since they hated him, they could not go and fake it and just make it as if everything's good with him and pretend that it was good, because it wasn't. So we learned something from there also, that that if you have a problem, to go and confront the person, or at least not to be a faker, not to say, oh, we like you and everything, and then so there was clearly somewhat of a dislike with Yosef. We learned something very interesting, and the Chachamim, they teach us that a person should not show favoritism between his kids, his children. So even if in his heart or in his mind he knows, this kid, I don't know, he's smarter, he's more successful, or whatever the case is, he should not show it to people. He should not show it to his kids, because the kids, once they feel that, so you can push away the kids, like we see with Yehuda, for example, that after what happened with Yosef, the whole episode with Yosef, he went and he went to another city, and then there's a whole story that happened. He had kids, and two of his kids died, Eren Onan. So that was the first thing. So about Yosef, and what did the brothers do to Yosef? Yosef wanted to see them. They went and they threw him in the pit, and they wanted to eventually they sold him. And something very interesting is written that when they sold him, there was two types of people they could have sold him to. They could have sold him to like regular merchants, right? But the merchants, they would have a lot of things that don't smell good, all type of merchandise that it's not so nice to be around. And then there was one caravan, one group of buyers, and they were Ishmaelim, and it says that they had very good fragrances in their caravans. And it says that Yosef was there, and instead of being a caravan that was taken for with a bad smell, it was with a good smell. That was a big question. Now he's just being sold. Mm-hmm. What does it change if it's a good smell or if it's a bad smell? Or if it's going to be an enjoyable ride, or if it's going to be a suffering ride? His brothers just sold him, so who cares? The chidush is that it's not who cares, because even in difficulty, if a person opens his eyes, he can see the chesed of Hashem. And so even from at this moment that Yosef saw that Hashem sent him in the caravan of the Ishmaelim, but with good spices, he already saw it was a sign that really that Hashem is with him, and really even in the difficulty, he will send him a benefit. He will send him like something that he can work with. Yeah. So that's number one. So then he was sold, and he went to live amongst Potiphar. Now we have something very important about Yosef, that Yosef, and we spoke with Yosef many times about this, that Yosef, it doesn't matter what he does. His job doesn't matter. He was the bracha. It says, "Vayi Hashem et Yosef, vayi ish matzliach." And Hashem was with Yosef, and Yosef was matzliach. was Masliach, he was successful. So it doesn't matter. You give him this water bottle. You tell him, look, start selling this water bottle, make a business out of it. All of a sudden, all the IGAs, all the metros, all the kushta, they like his bottle. I don't know, they like the design. Or they like Yosef's face, they buy it from him. But it's the same water bottle. Now you can have someone with a much better water bottle with, instead of 500 milliliters, they have 1 liter. Instead of being at $2, his price is 50 cents, and he won't be as successful. Why? This is called the bracha. So Yosef, he had the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is why as soon as he went to Egypt, he was bought by who? By Potiphar. And also when a person gets bought as a slave, he can either be bought by I wouldn't say a loser, but let's say someone who's, let's say a regular person or even an evil person that will beat him, will treat him like garbage. But he was bought by a very important person. So, it says that if you want to, it says it's better to be a sheep amongst it's better to be like the sheep amongst the lions than to be the least of the tzaddikim than to be the best of the reshaim, or the bad people, So so it's better you follow, but you're the lowest one, but at least you're in the good camp, right? So here, Yosef, at least now he's being bought by who? By someone very important, by a nobleman, by someone who's very rich and wealthy. Yosef goes, he shows up there, and all of a sudden he runs the show. Everything was under his hand. There was nothing in the place that he controlled everyone and everything there. And Potiphar gave him full confidence. He gave him the keys, do what you want. I imagine Potiphar is he's a multi-millionaire. He's running the show. He has a minister of Egypt. He has thousands of, hundreds of servants. He has fields. And Yosef, the Jew, he's already running the whole show. So all this was good. Business was booming, and Yosef was doing good there. Until it says in Bereshit, ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, ותישא אשת אדוניו את עיניה אל יוסף, ותאמר שבת עמי. So it was that after some time, what happened? That the Eshet Adonav, the master's wife, right, the wife of Potiphar, she put his eyes on Yosef, and she told him, "Come, lie with me. Let's do an avera together." Vayimaen, but he refused. Vayimaen. It's a very important word. It's very rare that we see this word, and I think it's the only time in the Torah, if I'm not mistaken, that we see this word. And he refused. Vayomer el Eshet Adonav en Adoni lo yada iti. Then it went on. It says, this was another part of the verse, but then to continue the verse, he said, "How can I do this evil? Right? How can I sin against Hashem?" So he said, "How can I do this evil?" Right? And he was referring to his master. How can I sin against Hashem? So we see Yosef already in his head. He said, because the idea of the Avera is not only I want to be moral, I want to be ethical, I want to be, because this doesn't really stand, because the bigger the challenge is, then at some point the person will either crack, or meaning that his morals have to be based on something very solid, right? So now his morals were based on what? On Hashem. How can I sin against Hashem? It's very important, because someone will think, if I do something, I do an avera, if I go, I lie, I cheat or I cheat in business, or I do all kinds of scam. They don't think about Hashem. They think they're good with Hashem, right? But they have to understand that every sin, every lishon hara, every time a person does a crime against someone or against Hashem, it's also meaning that against someone, it's also against Hashem. So how can I sin against Hashem? And therefore, now Yosef could have just gone with her, the Avera. Now it would never hear about Yosef. It wouldn't be Yosef Hatsadik. It would not be the Viceroy of Egypt. And that's also a big problem with the Avera. And that's what we have to learn, something very important. The problem with the Avera is the missed opportunity.
But he
didn't do it. But the problem with the Avera, let's say Chazashon would have done the Avera. So now what would happen?
No story.
No, but he wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know that. So he would do the Avera. Then Yom Kippur comes. Okay, Chatati, I'm sorry, Hashem. Whatever he does, okay, Hashem forgives him. But the problem is that, okay, Hashem forgave him. But now you can't go back to the potential that you had.
Yeah.
And that's why a person, it says, it says, remember your creator in your time of your youth, when you're young. You have opportunities. Like, let's say someone, he does tshuva and he's young. He's going to have children. He's going to teach them the right way, how to behave, how to be, human beings. teach your children how to be human beings before you teach them Torah. So the Torah also tells you, how to treat, how to grow your family, how to give them musa, how to, how to handle situations. So if a person already has this when he's young and he does tshuva and he follows the Torah, so everything falls in like it's like domino effect. So everything falls in place. Okay, the kids, they grow, they have their brains on their head, they do things properly, then they're 18, 19, 20, they find a job, they learn, they get married, and everything falls into place. But the problem is that now, let's say someone, he was a lefty, and he was he was watching CNN every day, and then all of a sudden, he became brainwashed. That there's no Hashem, Chas Shalom, there's no this, there's no that. We came from the monkeys. Okay, very good. So what happens with time? With time, when he thinks that when he has all those things in his head, so he gets married with a goya. He barely has children. All of his children, they're on Amazon 24/7. He has 4 nannies because he doesn't have time for any of them. He sends them to I know some people, they send their kids to St. George's, $30,000 a year. Wow. And it's for the kids to be like goyim. So he sends their kids there. And then when he's 60, 70 years old, he wakes up. Now he does tshuva. No, let's say now he does tshuva. He did tshuva. Good for you. Hashem will accept you. Even on the last day, Hashem will accept. But what's the problem here? That even if Hashem accepts, it's a missed opportunity. All these years, what you are and what you could have been. That's why when we're young, this is the best opportunity, because then we have a chance to fix it from the beginning. And that's what with Yosef. Now imagine Yosef would do this Zavera. We never speak about him. That's it. He would be gone. Not only would we not speak about him, he would not even be one of the tribes. Not only wouldn't be one of the tribes, he got 2 portions in the land. Right, because it was Reuven, he was the Bechor, but he was the Bechor also from Rachel. But he won, Hashem gave him the Bechorah, meaning that he got the 2 portions. Instead of Reuven, he got the 2 portions of the land. And therefore, if you look at the 12 tribes, it's written Ephraim and Menashe. There's no tribe. If you look in the map of the land of Israel, there's no tribe of Yosef. It's Ephraim and Menashe, his 2 sons.
His 2 sons.
His 2 sons. So each of his sons, he has a land in Israel, meaning that they have an equal share as the other tribes. His 2 sons, meaning that he got the double portion. So we see that Vayimayin, and he went and didn't do the Avera. Now we're going to continue a little bit about Yosef. Also, we see that when Yosef was, with time, he was sent in jail. He was there for 12 years, and his brothers came to him. They asked him for food, and we know that we know around the story what happened. And then when he revealed himself to his brothers, what did his brother? It says that they were so shocked. It said that they had like a heart attack, like their neshama came out of them. And it said that it was like Chet HaMetim, like Hashem revived them. It was like too much of a shock. Sometimes you hear this. So that's why it says when you want to tell someone a news, that's very shocking. You have for them to sit down, drink something, relax. You can't just tell someone, hey, you know what happened? You just lost all your money, it just sank. Or I don't know, someone stole all your bitcoins. Yeah. That's it. The guy's gonna jump. So that's why. So what did Yosef tell them? He said, "Don't worry, my brothers. That all this was the hand of Hashem." And this is why, if you look, because then at the end he was Visroy, he was running all of Egypt. Imagine this, running the biggest economy for 80 years. There was no one running the whole world for 80 years. Anyone who eats or drinks has to pass by you. He owned all the lands, because once people they don't have any more food, they went and they bought food with their lands. Mm-hmm. So they give 20% like of their land, and then they give the whole land. They give it to Paro. Wow. So thanks to Yosef, the business was booming for Paro, and they were very happy until they forgot about us. And that's why also never put your trust in the government, because the government and the politicians, because it says that when they need you, they use you. But when you're in your time of need, they forget about you. Yeah. And that's the chidush here. But then also I wanted to bring something else that's brought in Midrash Tanchuma. It's written, Rabod Raot Tzadik u'mikulam ya'asirenu Hashem ze Yosef Hatsadik. There's a verse, it's written, Rabod Raot Tzadik. So many are the afflictions of the righteous, right? So we see the Chachamim, they have a lot of difficulties in their lives. They have a lot of troubles in their lives, right? Like Abraham Avinu. It's not troubles just for you to have troubles. It's because Hashem is testing you, right? Trials. You see, it's trials. You see what? The second that the bank account is negative, that's it. You forget about me. The second that you I don't know, you're not happy with your wife, that's, or I don't know, any averot. Well, okay, you're not happy, you go to McDonald's. No, even when it's difficult, even when you see that I don't know, you go to the store, you see a kosher cheese is $40, see non kosher cheese at $10, and you're like, I'm going to buy the kosher cheese. So even depending on the person, depending on the situation, this can also be a trial. But the thing is that Hashem, He wants to test us to give us Zot Hashem Olam Haba. It's very important to understand that this world, it's written that this world is like the prosdor, it's like the lobby, right? And then to go into the banquet hall, to the wedding, right? So now when you invest all your money, right, at the lobby, what will you have if you to go inside the reception? What's going to be left? And that's why a person should not go and invest too much, right on this world. You know, it says in the Kohelet, it's written Kohelet was Shlomo Melech, and he wrote. He said he said that he was like in a state of I don't want to say sadness, but he was in a state of realization that everything is nothing. He said, I worked, I did all this, I made all this money, I had all the pleasures of the world, I had all the women of the world. He had 1,300 wives and like 700 concubines, because he made treaties with all the countries, and there was no wars at his time. And it said that in Yerushalayim the stones were made out of silver. So we see that everything was booming when he was king. But he says at the end, he said, what's this worth? Yeah. He said, look, I have all this, but look, the fool, I'm thinking about all this, so now I'm troubled by this. I did all this work, I did everything, and now in 20 years from now I'm gone. And now the fool never did anything in his life. He's also going to go in the same box as me. That's it. We're both done. What's the purpose? He said, and I'm going to leave my money for the kids. Who cares? The kids. How do you know what if they're not smart? What if they don't do? So all the work that you did, they get the reward. We're talking like in a practical sense. You know, you have grandchildren. Okay, good. You're happy. You want them to be good. But he was thinking, what if they're not intelligent with the money? They waste their money. They go gambling, or they go they waste it on shtuyot, on all kinds of avodah zarah, things against Hashem. What's the purpose? So he was saying that there was no. He looked at and he enjoyed all the happiness of this world, whatever you can think of, all the gold and silver and like all the richness and all the physical pleasures. And he said there's nothing. That's why he said at the end of Kohelet, it says, "So davar kol nishma, et mirav vet mitzvah shemo ki zekul adam." It says at the end of the matter is, so that a man, why is he here in this world? Because he has to fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he has to fear Hashem, and he has to do the mitzvot. This is why he's here. There's no other purpose. Now, there's other things that are interesting sometimes, but then it makes it that you're veering off. So now the goal is to use the physical things that we have to see how we can make it spiritual. Because a person can all day do Torah and mitzvot, even when he's at work, even when he's just in the way that he's doing business, calculating, making sure that everything is the right weight, making sure everything is kasher. If he has employees, to make sure he pays them that same day. You saw from the Torah, you have an employee. If he's a sachir yom, that you have to pay him every day, every second that you're not paying him. I imagine this. Now go tell this to go tell this to I think go tell this now to a court. They're gonna laugh at you. Okay, wait. Go to the police. But here it says every second bal tolin, every second you owe money to someone, and he needs it, and he's asking you for it, and it was already established that this was the time to pay. And he doesn't pay you. He saw from the Torah every second. He saw. So all this to go back to the point that like Kohelet was saying, like Shlomo Melech was saying, that the person he has to have Yirat Shamayim, right? Because without Yirat Shamayim, there's nothing. What's Yirat Shamayim? It's like Yosef.
Fear of God, no?
Fear of God. Hashem said no, and Hashem is in charge. Not only he said no, and he's in charge. He's in charge of. There's two Yirat Shamayim. There's Yirat Shamayim. There's Yirat Ha'onesh. So you're scared because you know Hashem is watching. Hashem is recording. It says Ayin Roa, Ozen Shoma'at, V'chol Ma'asecha B'Sefer Nichtavin. Everything is recorded. There's nothing that flies. It says in the Gemara, it says anyone who thinks that Hashem is Vatchan, he's gonna let go. It's okay, don't worry. Hashem is my buddy. went to high school together.
Mhm.
So everyone who thinks that, it says that he's going to get a horrible punishment because it's not. Because Hashem is also a judge. Like we were saying in the Yishur from Yom Kippur, that Avinu Malkeinu, Hashem is our Father, is also our judge. And therefore, when we realize that Hashem is watching everything and He created us, He created the whole world, and He knows everything, and He's capable, Chaz Hashem, to send terrible punishments and terrible bad things. So this is supposed to make us and prevent us from doing any avirot. This is number one. Now this is the level that if we reach that level, it's already wonderful because that means that we don't do any avirot.
Mhm.
Now there's a higher level, but this is for the select few. But this is one day with Hashem. This is irat haromimut. This is the fear. It's not because you're scared of being punished or because you revere Hashem so much. You have so much awe and like respect and it's so incredible that you're the servant of Hashem that you don't even think in your mind to ever do an avera. It doesn't cross your mind. It's like le'avdil elef avdalot. I don't know. You're working for back in the days when it was important. Let's say the Queen Elizabeth.
Mhm.
So you're working for her. Now she tells you, bring me a cup of coffee. Make sure there's 3 sugars inside. Make sure there's 200 milliliters and it's in this glass cup. Now you work for her. So wow, this woman, she went and she met all the leaders of the world and she's
Mhm.
been queen for like 80 years. So wow, you go and you make your coffee, and you don't make it because you're scared. Oh, she's gonna kill you. No, she's not. But it's just because who asked you. Sometimes it depends. For example, sometimes you have big rabbis, big Talmidei Chachamim. So you see now the person how he's gonna treat the rabbi, how he's gonna make sure you give him kavod, how he's gonna the guy's gonna wake up at 5 a.m. to prepare him the.
Mhm.
The guy never wakes up at 5, but that time he wakes up at 5.
Mhm.
But it's not because of punishment, because he has reverence,
Respect.
irat. So this irat haromimut is a respect and awe that comes, but this is at a higher level. So now to go back to Yosef, it says that there's a lot of afflictions for the righteous, right, for the tzaddikim. But from all of them, Hashem saves the tzaddik. He saves the person. And the Midrash says, "Ze Yosef Hatsadik, shekol ma she'avar alav haya achana legeula ve'lehanaga." Right? Because everything, and this is Yosef Hatsadik, because everything that happened to him, it was really a preparation for the geula, right? To save the whole world, because he saved the whole world by feeding everybody, and for the anaga to be the leader. And when he was in Potiphar's house, you know how to be a leader. When he was sent in jail, he was also the leader in jail. So it was all real. So even through all the afflictions, not only it wasn't like as a punishment, it was like a test, but those tests were really to prepare him for something even greater. Right? And that's like we see it with Abraham Avinu. That he told Abraham, go and sacrifice your son. Now once he wanted to go and sacrifice his son, that's it. And that's why every year we always bring it up. Every day we have before the korbanot, we have this is like the Joker. We bring this in front of Hashem. Hashem says, yes. What can I do? Abraham, your father, he was going to sacrifice Yitzchak. Is there a bigger sign of love and bigger sign of dedication than someone who's willing to sacrifice the thing that he loves the most? Of course, Hashem did not want him to sacrifice his son. It was just to test him. Now I wanted to share with you something else with Yosef. That with Yosef, when he went and he saw his brothers, it's written, "Atem chashavtem alai ra'a, Elohim chashava letova." Right? He said that you thought to make me something bad, but Hashem intended it for it to be good. And therefore, a person can always make all kinds of calculations. Oh, let me do this, let me do that. But Hakadosh Baruch Hu, whatever He wants it to happen, it will happen.
Mhm.
And therefore, if a person puts, it says, "Ashkei hagever asher yiftach b'Hashem." Ashkei hagever, right? Happy is the man who puts his trust in Hashem. Vaya Hashem yiftacho. And if a person puts his trust, he puts his insurance in Hashem, then Hashem will be his insurance. Right? You don't need Yedidia. But if a person doesn't put his insurance, if he doesn't put his trust in Hashem, what is it written if he does the opposite? Ahu hagever asher yiftach ba'adam. Cursed is the man who relies on another man. Let's say you need money for something. You need this. Oh, you text the guy. You call him 100 times. You say, I need you to send me the money. Okay, you send him 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You send him a text. But you cannot be in your heart or in your mind that this is what will, that from him you got your salvation. Let's say you have your father, he helps you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You kiss his hand, you kiss his head. But you cannot think in your head that if he would not help you, that Hashem would not find another way. You cannot think in your head, if my father or my cousin or my friend would not help me, I would be outside in the street. You cannot. This doesn't take away from the gratefulness that you have to be grateful, right, to them, to whoever did it. However, at the same time, even if you have to be grateful, you have to remember that it's Hashem who's sending you those people. Hashem is sending them the money that they can take care of you. Hashem is sending them the right idea so that you'll be able to have what you need. And so if it doesn't come from them, it says Hashem has a lot of shluchim. Okay, so it comes from this guy, or you have a new client that showed up, or you have this one that asked. So it will come. And this is why a person is very important to remember. Because if a person puts his trust in man, already it's a type of avodah zarah. Then something else I wanted to bring with you. It was.
I just have one question.
Yeah, go.
So, okay, are you like, I don't know if maybe I'm just asking this too early and you're gonna get there, but why is Yosef Hatsadik one of the guests? Why is he one of the 7 guests out of every day? You said there's a guest every day in the sukkah. So why is Yosef chosen as one of the guests?
So Yosef Hatsadik. So like we were explaining, that Yosef Hatsadik is already higher than everyone else. He is considered like the bechor of the family, and he achieved a higher level than, I wouldn't say a higher level than all his brothers, because each brother had his special thing. However, he had a special kedusha, right? And that's what the Zohar, actually we have resources from the Zohar. The Zohar bring, it says that Yosef Hatsadik Yesod Olam, right? That Yosef is like he's like a tzaddik, he's like a foundation of the world. Like he's one of the pillars of the world for what he did. Right? And he brought the holiness, right? The kedusha. Because it wasn't oh, I'm not doing this avera, oh, I'm going to get caught, or my master is there. No, Hashem is watching me, Hashem is here. So it's not, and it also was very tempting. It says in Gemara that she was one of the most prettiest girl. She was one of the prettiest girl in the world. It wasn't, and she begged him, and it said that the clothes, and it says that it was for 1 year. It wasn't for 1 day. For 1 year, she was courting him. She was going to him and everything until the last day that he had to go to jail. And also, not only that, it said that the clothing she wore in the morning, she didn't wear the same at night. She would change
to like impress him.
Yeah, exactly, to impress him. So it was a very, very difficult thing. But Yosef, no. But then it's not only this story. It's everything else. When he received his brothers, how he treated his brothers, how he saved his whole family, how he saved everybody, and how he saw the whole way that it was Hashem. So Yosef has a very special role. Now another thing, Yosef, it says that he's not affected by Ain Hara. It's not affected by the evil eye. It says why? Because Yosef, when Esav came to look at Rachel, he came to look at the wife, he went in front of her and he went on his tippy toes to protect her. And he says, since he wanted to protect her from the evil eye of Esav, so he got a reward that he and his descendant will never be affected by the evil eye. And that's why we say the verse, Ben Porat Yosef, Ben Porat Ayin, right? That Yosef is over the evil eye. And even if he was gorgeous, he was beautiful, the evil eye has no impact on him. Right? And another thing is that also that Yosef, it says that in the time of Mashiach, there's going to be 2 Mashiach. One Mashiach ben Yosef and one Mashiach ben David. So the Mashiach ben Yosef will die during the war. Mashiach ben David will be the one staying when it comes. So we see in that sense that Yosef, there's a very special kedusha, right? Kedusha of special kedusha, and I would say that those are like many reasons. Now it could have been other things, but those are things that went and brought him to another level compared to other people. Then I wanted just to go quickly with some halachot, right? Because halachot are very important, because this is what guides us. At the end, everything we say is very good, but the halachot is what we have to do every day. So what do we learn from Yosef? We learn shmirat hatzniut, that a person has to be careful with the laws of yichud, right? A person is not allowed to go in a room with a woman, with either if she's single or if she's there's a different halachot, but you're not allowed to go. A man's not allowed to go in a room with a woman. You cannot be in a private room or a closed door with a woman, right? And it applies that there's many circumstances. So, in general, as a husband or wife, or even a regular guy, always has to make sure that either the door is open or then the Reshut HaRabim, people can walk in and out. They're in a public setting, never to be in a closed place, whether Jewish or not Jewish, with a woman. This is the halacha. Now, if you ask now the secular people, oh, you're extremist, you're this, you're that, because that's how do you think it all works? How do you think a person in Chaz Hashem cheats on his wife? How? Or you think what? All of a sudden, hey, come, let's do avera? No. You go, you work late at night. Okay, yeah, you go, you talk. Yeah, you're lightheaded. There's also a lot of halachot. You know, not to be lightheaded, not to joke around, not to be, you have to do shmirah, not to touch shenanigia. You hug every other girl. Oh, a bees hug. How are you? And then, as if you're married husband and wife. No, so it always tells you, be careful, yichud. Don't get into a closed room with the person. Don't go and touch the other person, unless if it's your husband. Don't go and do all kinds of things to prevent from a person to go and do the averot. And not only that, is it already this in itself, yichud, we did a show of Krimizi, Dayan, and there was already a whole debate and there's actually many opinions that said that from the Torah, Yisuf from the Torah, to go in yichud with a woman. So this is one halacha that we have to learn and we have to be careful with, not to go in yichud. Another law is that, like we were speaking last week, that Yosef the same way that he forgave his brothers, right? Is there a higher level of betrayal that being sold as a slave and being told to your father that you were killed? Understand? So it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you are a guy, today I hear crazy stories. Oh, this guy, I don't know, he didn't give me shah brachot. I never speak with him 20 years. You see, families, parents don't speak with their kids. So we see Yosef, after what happened with his brothers, he forgave them fully. And so now we also the salacha, if we have a problem with people, we did something bad to someone, we hurt them, we insulted them, we have to go and ask forgiveness. And also, if someone comes to us to ask us for forgiveness, we also have to forgive. We cannot be so, you have to think of yourself.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I wanted to say is that, one more halacha, and we're going to finish with this, is that, so the Shchovat al-Bachvot in Shara Bitachon, it brings that a person always has to have faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that there's Ashgacha Pratit. There's a reason why Hashem sets up a certain situation for you to be in, and there's a reason why this happens to you. Right? Nothing is just, oh, bad luck, don't worry. Oh, that's your luck, what do you want? Okay, there was 100 people who had to pick you, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not this. There's Ashgacha Pratit. And therefore, a person has to put in his head and in his mind, what can I do? Let's say if he gets something bad or something that that looks bad, at least for him. So he has to say Gamzor Tova, this is for the good, and he has to look how can it be good, or why is it that this happens to me? What can I do? What can I improve? I'll finish with this. Is that Rav Mazuz, they asked him during the time of Corona. He said, he said one of the reasons why Corona is happening is because Hashem is very mad. There's all those parades, that there's all those things that are toyevot, it's against Hashem, that all those different things happening. And he said that's one of the reasons why he sent Corona. Now there's a lot of people that came, oh, how can you know what? Just because people are doing those sins against Hashem, how would you know? So it's very simple. First of all, we can't pinpoint that we know that for sure that this, because only of this sin of chitut, of homosexuality, because there's just the sin, it went and caused it directly, right? However, we know that the general rule is that when there's bad things happening, the Rambam writes, you have to look, why is it happening? You have to look in your avirot, you have to look in yourself. Why is Hashem sending this? You understand? It says if someone thinks that Hashem just sends things like that just for fun, it says so Hashem will send more things just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's written. But if a person will go Yifashvesh, then check why is Hashem sending this stuff. So for sure, this is also for another reason. So if a person sees something in his life, he shouldn't go and let it slide and sweep it. Oh, it's okay. I was unlucky. It's like someone, Chazasham, he goes, he ends up in the hospital. So now when they end up in the hospital, many times they start realizing. But then like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? I didn't have enough. I didn't eat enough calcium, or of course we have to do our part in terms of health. All those things, it's also very important. We cannot neglect it. And also it's within the Torah. that you have to be careful with your health. So already, if a person is not careful with his health and he smokes or does all kinds of things, then he's already doing a sin. So therefore, he's already bringing on himself that something can happen to him. That's number one. But the other thing also is that to understand that it's Hashem running the show. Once a person understands it, like Yosef Hatsadik, then also you see it very well at night. You see, because Yosef was ready when he received his brothers, and he forgave, and he forgave them. He was saying it's all Hashem's plan, and he already saw it, right? So the chidush is we have to go and see how is Hashem's doing is giving his ashgacha pratit in our lives, and what we can do to increase and become better. And Bezrat Hashem, so in the suit of Yosef, that we should all be zochet to be tzaddikim like him. Bezrat Hashem, that Am Yisrael should be good and should be healthy, that the soldiers should be safe and sound. Bezrat Hashem, the chatufim should come home safe and sound. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have mercy on us. The same way He had mercy on Yosef, that was a prisoner for 12 years. And also that we were prison. Imagine, we had no army, no nothing. We were in Egypt for hundreds of years. We're millions of people. There's no army. There's no Mossad, no Iron Dome, no nothing. No laser beam. Right? Who saved us? Hashem. By himself, He saved us. It's not Moshe, He sent the plagues, He opened the sea. He saved us. Not only that, like we said many times, no one in the world ever went against that fact. No Muslim, no Christians. You have 2.4 billion Christians, 1.9 billion Muslims. No one, and no prophets, and no lefties. From all the generations, right? No one ever went against that fact that Hashem took us out of Egypt. No one. It's crazy. But it's not crazy. You know why? Because everyone knew it was the truth. It was just common knowledge. Hashem took the Jewish people out of Egypt, but He changed us. Now we're the ones. But it's like if I tell you this bottle is this is blue, no one can argue with it. So the idea is that the same way that Hashem saved us then, and we had no one, He's also saving us now. So we cannot be blinded because of the army, or because of this, because of that. This is what's saving us. It's all Hashem. Therefore, when we do Teilim, we do mitzvot, we do mitzvot and everything. So we're increasing our ashgacha pratit, we're increasing our closeness with Hashem. Therefore, we bring Yeshua from Yisrael. So now you do a bracha, you do a mitzvah, you do something good, you are helping. You should know this is from the Torah. It's not just hocus pocus here. The Torah tells you when you do something, you do a mitzvah, you are helping your brothers in the rest of Israel. It says, Kol Yehudim, it says, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh. We're all connected. We're all dependent on each other. And the Rambam brings the halacha, like we said many times. You do one mitzvah, you tip the scale of the whole world to the positive side. You do one avera, you tip the whole world to the scale of the negative side. So B'ezrat Hashem, be zochet to have good things, and B'ezrat Hashem, the soldiers should be good, officers should come home, and B'ezrat Hashem, we should have Yeshuot for all Am Yisrael.
But did the brother